My in-laws fell off a cliff while hiking, but my husband Ethan, captain of the district's search and rescue team, refused the mission. Instead, he took his junior Rachel to set off fireworks for her birthday. By the time my in-laws were found, they were already dead, bodies shattered beyond recognition. Only then did Ethan leisurely call me, "Bring your parents' remains to the station. Rachel still needs to dissect 2 more bodies to qualify for her medical examiner certification." So he thought the deceased were my parents. I smiled and immediately delivered those mangled remains to the station. The moment the bodies arrived, Ethan finally showed up with Rachel. "Ugh, what a horrible death. I'm going to have nightmares tonight," Rachel shrieked, throwing herself into his arms. Ethan kicked one of the bodies, looking at me impatiently. "Couldn't you have cleaned them up? Didn't you hear Rachel got scared by your parents?" "Apologize to Rachel." I stood there stunned, finding it absurd. Me apologize? For what? Before my in-laws died, I'd received the distress call and notified Ethan with plenty of time for rescue. But what was he doing? Taking Rachel up the mountain to set off fireworks, missing the critical rescue window. I thought Rachel had led him astray, making him neglect his duties. Never imagined he simply assumed the dead were my parents. Rachel blinked, watching this like entertainment. Ethan said he'd planned to order a casket for my parents, but now they deserved their deaths. Rachel suggested using a garbage truck to transport them, then handed me a flyer for pet funeral services. Ethan told me to thank Rachel. I laughed until tears nearly came. "Thank you. After you finish the autopsy, I'll definitely take them to be buried there." My in-laws had a hiking accident and fell off a cliff, but my husband, the captain of the jurisdictional search and rescue team, refused the mission. He took his junior Rachel to set off fireworks for her birthday instead. By the time my in-laws were found, their bodies were shattered beyond recognition. They'd been dead for a while. Only then did Ethan unhurriedly call me, "Bring your parents' remains to the station. Rachel still needs to autopsy 2 more bodies before she qualifies for her medical examiner certification." Turned out he thought the deceased were my parents. I smiled and immediately delivered those 2 bodies, mangled beyond recognition, to the station. The bodies had just been carried away when Ethan finally showed up with Rachel Jeong. "Ah, how could they die so horribly? I'm going to have nightmares tonight," Rachel shrieked and threw herself into his arms. Ethan kicked one of the bodies, looking at me impatiently. "Couldn't you have processed the remains a little? Didn't you hear Rachel got scared by your parents?" "Apologize to Rachel." I froze for a moment, finding this utterly absurd. Me apologize? Why should I? Before my in-laws died, I'd received the distress call. The time I notified Ethan to bring the team was more than sufficient for rescue. But what was he doing? Taking Rachel up the mountain to set off fireworks, missing the rescue window entirely. I thought Rachel had led him astray, making him careless about work. Never imagined he simply assumed the deceased were my parents. Rachel blinked, watching this like entertainment. "Summer, Ethan's parents have been teaching you not to be so aggressive. You won't even apologize for your parents' sake. Guess you never took their words to heart." Ethan frowned, chiming in. "I was going to order them a casket, but now it seems they deserved their deaths. Raising a daughter with no manners like you, probably heaven's justice, punishing them for your mistakes." My expression went cold. "Whether you order a casket or not is up to you, but please don't talk about my parents like that." Ethan looked thoroughly annoyed, barking orders at the team members. "People like this don't deserve our resources. Just grab a stretcher to carry them back later." Rachel added gleefully, "Why waste a stretcher? Didn't we have a garbage truck come today? Just use that to transport them, right? Summer, you won't be mad, will you? We're just saving resources for more people who are still alive." Watching my in-laws' remains being loaded onto a garbage truck, I actually laughed.